We are mostly an ingredient household. I just don't keep processed, like ultra processed food here in our home. And I actually kind of grew up in an ingredient household. When I was a little bit older in high school, my mom started to get really into health and she ditched the processed food. So it wasn't too far of a stretch for me to do the same once I started having kids and realizing that she was actually onto something and not trying to just spoil our fun by getting rid of all the Pop-Tarts and SpaghettiOs. So we're going to talk about that today, being an ingredient household. I do want to do a homestead and farm update video for you guys soon, but I want to do it with my drone, and it has been broken. I just got it back in the mail from being repaired, so hopefully that'll be an upcoming video, just kind of taking you all over the farm and showing you what we're working on. You saw all of our laying hens there, our new laying hens. They're maybe like 12 weeks old, and they're doing really well, growing fast. Hopefully be laying a lot of eggs for us in the spring. And what you're looking at here is a wagon that my husband just bought at an auction for $400, and this is going to be the base for the egg mobile that the laying hens will be laying their eggs in and sleeping in when they are being rotated out on pasture. So anytime you can get anything at an auction or like on Facebook Marketplace, it's going to be a lot cheaper than if you were to buy new. We do a lot of that. And so my boys found some hog feeders. That's what you're looking at here at the same auction, and they bought those. So they'll be able to put those to good use in the spring when we get our feeder hogs. But anyway, let us get back to the topic at hand for the day. I was making a cabbage and onion and meatball soup, and I laid out all of my ingredients. I took pretty pictures of all of the steps for making this recipe, because I really want to start posting all of the recipes that I make up on my blog again. I do have a food blog. There's a lot there, but there hasn't been anything new in a while. And the reason is that I used to have a team of people who I worked with. I had a food photographer, a blog writer, a Pinterest lady, an email lady, like a whole team of people. That's how we kept this thing running. But I did an audit with a professional blog auditor who's just like the top in that, I don't know, like the top guy at doing that. And he told me to fire everybody and stop posting new content because it wasn't helping. Because like it just, things weren't being written in my voice. And I don't know, he wants me to hire all new people. And that just kind of was a lot for me. So I did fire everybody, even though I really liked everybody. But maybe like now I don't have time to do it myself. So I don't know if anybody out there is watching this and you are super experienced with blog writing or anything, and you don't need any training, because that's the thing, I have zero time to train anybody, then just holler at me, send an email, reach out. We'll see if we can work something out. But let's talk about being an ingredient-only household. So what I'm doing now, I had some leftover sourdough artisan bread. This is freshly milled sourdough bread that I cubed up, and now I'm just blending up into breadcrumbs for the base for my meatballs. The two most ancient forms of cookware are ceramic and cast iron, which I use both of those in my kitchen. You can see behind me there my big stack of cast iron, which I absolutely love. And then here I have my ceramic coated Caraway cookware. And what I love about both of these is that they are non-toxic and non-stick. However, there are some key differences. So cast iron takes a little bit of maintenance and skill and work for it to be non-stick. You have to make sure that your cookware is seasoned properly, and you just have to know how to work with it, which I love to do. But not everybody in my family is a fan of cast iron. My husband's not a fan, and my kids who are learning to cook prefer the ceramic coated cookware because it is non-stick without the maintenance. Over 70% of cookware in the United States is made from Teflon, which only takes a couple of minutes to heat up to over 500 degrees Fahrenheit, at which point it begins releasing toxic forever chemicals, PFAS substances, into your food and into the air that you can then breathe in. And these substances are extremely harmful. They are linked to reproductive issues, linked to cancer, to immune system issues, all sorts of health problems, and it can take decades
to eliminate these chemicals from the body. Ceramic is perfect for gentle, low to medium heat cooking. So I use my Caraway daily for things like boiling, roasting, simmering, making sauces, making pasta, cooking eggs, fried eggs, scrambled eggs. Although ceramic is a durable material, you still want to be careful with your Caraway cookware and just use wood or silicone utensils. Stay away from metal utensils and don't stack them inside of each other. So don't stack your pots and pans because that could over time damage the coating. And Caraway makes it very easy to store your cookware properly because you get these magnetic upright holders. They actually, yeah, they're magnetic. So they all stick together and these store really nicely in a really deep drawer or a cabinet. And you also get a hanging rack for the lids as well, so that you're not scratching any of the surfaces. This big Dutch oven right here fits here, and this is part of the bundle that I have in this beautiful terracotta color. Over the years, I've slowly been adding more color to my kitchen, and I just love it. It's so much fun. I would definitely recommend purchasing a bundle because when you do so, you save up to 20% as opposed to buying individual pieces. And this bundle right here with these 4 pieces, so the medium and the large pan, and then the small and large pots, that really does cover all of your bases. So this is a really good place to start. There is an exclusive deal for Hopewell Heights subscribers. When you place an order for the holiday season, you will also get Graza's Frizzle High Heat Cooking Spray included as a gift, and that is with any purchase site-wide. However, the more you spend, the more you get included with your order. And at the highest tier, your order will include the Caraway stainless steel bar set. I also got word from Caraway that this is their best holiday offer. So there won't be any additional Black Friday or Christmas sales with savings greater than what you could get right now. So I will put my code, my link, and all the details in the description below the video.
There are 5 reasons why being an ingredient-only household is the superior choice. This is not one of those things like, oh, you do you, and like, you know, everybody just do what's right for them. I'm not saying that in a judgmental way because, yeah, I understand busy seasons of life. You guys, if you've been here for a while, you know our story. Like, at one point, I was working overnight shifts, coming home, homeschooling my kids on no sleep, and, you know, there were Cheetos that were eaten in that period of time. So I get it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if we're speaking in biological terms, like what is the biological best for human beings? I'm not perfect at it, but I like knowing what that standard is because that at least helps me to know what to shoot for or how to troubleshoot. If there are problems with our health, I can kind of look at what I'm bringing into my home and see where I can maybe make some adjustments or improvements. So the 5 benefits, 5 things that make being an ingredient-only household superior are: number 1, better nutrition. Obviously, you're getting a lot better, quality nutrition. Number 2, you have more control over ingredients and preparation, what goes into your food. Number 3, lower grocery costs over time, especially once you really get good at this and you learn what you like. You can start shopping in bulk and save a lot of money. I have like the highest quality ingredients that I bring into my house, but I spend less than a lot of people because I just know what I like, I know where to find it, and I buy in bulk. Number 4, less packaging and waste. This is something that actually does bother me. I am not like a zero waste person. I would love to be, but it does weigh heavily on me just how much waste we create as modern people. And buying in bulk does help with that, especially when you're getting like bulk grains in big, like paper, bags and sacks and stuff. It does help cut down on packaging. Number 5, stronger cooking skills and food culture. And this might be my absolute favorite point, is just improving your game in the kitchen when you are an ingredient-only household. And that's kind of what I'm doing today, just making up this recipe. And I knew that it was going to turn out good. Like I hardly ever worry anymore about making something that's going to be a total flop. It does happen sometimes when I really go out on a limb, but sometimes it pays off, sometimes you just really got to try something different. Anyway, I am making another adrenal cocktail. Those have been featured in my last few videos, and it's really not on purpose. It's just that I'm drinking 2 of them a day, and I'm drinking them like mid-morning and mid-afternoon. That just so happens to be when I'm doing my food prep. And so, the point of the adrenal cocktail, I used to have a blog post on it. I don't know where it went. Like I told you guys earlier in this video, I have a team of people that I used to work with, and they would move things around, edit things, take things out. I'm not so sure how I feel about that. But anyway, the adrenal cocktail really is to provide minerals and fuel to your body throughout the day, especially if you're pregnant or breastfeeding and you're just feeling you are drained. If you're feeling drained, then you are drained of vitamins and minerals and you need replenishing. And more on that can be found if you look into the root cause protocol. There's a website. Just Google root cause protocol and look into it. There's like free PDF printables that walks you through the whole thing. I'm a huge fan of the root cause protocol, even though it is most effective for people who have a healthy gut. So I started it well over a year ago. I've done it a couple times, but the last time I tried to do the root cause protocol, it didn't go well because I had SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, and I had to address that first and then get back to the root cause protocol. Anyway, let's get back to our 5 points about being an ingredient-only household. And one thing that I wanted to mention too is, this is probably something that you have thought about. If you're not doing this already, you probably thought about it before. Just like going through your pantry, taking a trash bag and just getting rid of the processed stuff or the junk or the things that are causing you to eat in a way that you don't want to eat and just starting fresh. Maybe you've thought about that. I know it can be economically challenging. But if you are in a place to do that, now is actually a great time to do that and just donate the food that you're going to get rid of, because somebody out there is just in a place where they just need food, and that would be a blessing to them. And I know, with people getting their benefits cut off and trying to make the transition into figuring other things out, they would, probably just see that as a blessing. And there are a lot of churches and organizations doing food drives, so there's no shortage of places to go to donate food. So just something to consider. And I think the holiday season is actually a really fun time to switch to being an ingredient household, because all of the best comfort foods and desserts and like American classics are so much better made from scratch. So let's quickly just break down each one of our 5 points. The first one being better nutrition. I have been reading Weston A. Price's book, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. I think that's the title is something like that. I'm still not done with it, but I've been reading it over the past few weeks and talking about it here on my videos. And that, I think, is one of the best books that I have ever read on the effects on nutrition from ultra-processed food. Weston Price traveled throughout the world visiting these populations that were isolated and untouched by modernity. And they had almost perfect health, no tooth decay, like wide faces, wide jaws, no mouth breathing, very robust immune systems, and just very physically fit, robust people, very mentally sound, and very high morals. I think that's something that gets missed, is that when we are ill, when we are deformed, and yes, having a narrow jaw and a narrow palate is a deformity. Don't feel upset about that, because guess what? Most of my kids have that, and I have breastfed them. I don't feel bad about it because I did the best I could with the information and support that I had at the time. So now we're just going to face the facts and we're going to deal with it. In fact, as I speak, my husband has my 2 oldest kids at an airway-focused orthodontist and dentist, and they are getting braces. So we're doing it the right way with jaw expansion, airway-focused first. And I can tell you it's almost $20,000 for these 2 kids, but it's that important to their health. I wish I would have known better when they were younger, because I would have taken better care of myself, focused more on my vitamin and mineral content and eliminating processed foods. I did breastfeed all of them for a very long time, but my milk was lacking. Now, even breast milk that is lacking in vitamins and nutrients and minerals is still going to be way better than formula any day of the week. Set your emotions aside. So I know ladies get emotional about that, but once again, we just need to face the facts. Biologically, breast milk always wins. It's always superior. But still, because of the poor food and soil quality these days, our breastfed kids. They're still having these airway and palate and jaw problems. So Weston Price noted that the main culprit was white flour. Anytime that refined flour made its way into an isolated community, the health of the children and of the people in general fell apart. They started having rampant tooth decay and narrow jaws and obstructed airways and just general physical degeneration. So, ultra processed food, it just is not meant to be consumed by humans. But the biggest culprit, I think, is flour. Even if you are buying organic, non-GMO flour, it is a health problem. So I would recommend, my one takeaway from this video is looking into a grain mill and eating freshly milled flour, because the isolated populations that were still milling their own grain had perfect health. Okay, point number 2, more control over ingredients. I just want to make one quick point here, and that is that all packaged food has what is called an acceptable level of contamination, and this includes infant formula. That means there is an acceptable level of things like rat feces and toxins that are allowed to be in the product, because it's just impossible to manufacture things on such a large scale and not have anything toxic in there. So that's another reason to be an ingredient household. Number 3, lower grocery cost over time. There's really not much to say there aside from giving you my sources. I know a lot of people are like Costco or Sam's people. I am an Azure Standard person. Once you make the switch to being an ingredient-only household, you have got to check out Azure Standard. Not everything there is cheaper, but a lot of things are. And when you can buy in bulk, like 25, 50-pound bags of whatever you're making, you can save a lot. Number 4, less packaging and waste. We kind of already covered that. But number 5, stronger cooking skills and food culture. When you don't have processed food, you are forced to be creative and eat seasonally. Even though I don't grow all my produce, I still buy it when it's on sale because it's in season. And then I just take a look in my fridge, in my pantry, see what I have and what I need to use, and I just come up with something. This is a skill. You do get better at it in time, and it's so fun and satisfying for me. Just like this soup. I had never made this exact soup before, but like I said, I knew it would turn out good because I've been doing this for 15 years, just cooking from scratch, piecing things together, and you do develop an eye for it over time. And then you make up your own signature recipes and develop a stronger food culture for your family, recipes that you can pass down. And this is how people lived for all of time. This is how those isolated populations that Weston Price studied lived. They all had their signature foods and dishes that they had just developed and perfected over decades and generations and even centuries and handed down. And so their bodies were attuned to eating those things. And that's how we were meant to live, not just like buying the next trendy processed food item that everybody's eating. All right, well, that wraps up our discussion for today. I will see you all next week.